Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry, and this is our first draft episode of the 2026 season, calendar, offseason, because we're there as teams are playing in the playoffs, and the Bengals aren't, but that's okay. We like draft season. We like to dive in. We like to see who these players are. And the last Bengals On The Brain film episode was of Jordan Battle. And I wanted to do that to lead into this first player that we wanted to watch from Ohio State, Caleb Downs. And the reason I want to start with Caleb Downs is because people have been talking about him for 2 years. If you are a Bengals fan, if you talk to anybody that is an Ohio State fan and a Bengals fan, or anyone that honestly enjoys college football. I mean, we're talking about a 3-year starter that started at Alabama as an 18-year-old, won Freshman of the Year for the SEC. Defensive Back of the Year, Ronnie Lott. Jim Thorpe Trophy 24, 25 awards for being all Big Ten. He's a good player, right? So we're talking about a young player, just turned 21 in December. So some of the film I've watched already actually started with the Texas game in 2024. He has an interception in that game, so I started with that one. So this is already like my fourth game, I want to say that. And this is the game I thought represented him the most. Against Michigan. And so this is right around where he turns 21. So we're seeing him super young in this game. And he's got family members that have played in the NFL and have coached. His brother is Josh Downs, who's the wide receiver for the Colts, someone that I really like a ton, who is an elite athlete also coming out of North Carolina. Smaller guy, too, like Caleb Downs, who's listed at 6 foot 205. I don't know, man. I wouldn't be shocked if he's 5'11", 198, under 200, right? If he's just a little bit smaller than that. And I've seen some people say he's a good athlete, not an elite athlete. Is he not like Josh Downs? I don't know. I think there's plenty of occasions on film, to me, where he looks like an upper athlete. But is he that Nick Emmanwori? Is he that Kyle Hamilton? Clearly doesn't have that size. So what kind of safety is he? What are his skills? Is he a slam dunk 10th pick? We just have the film right now. Right, so we don't have all of that stuff. I don't have all of the data yet. Well, it looks like we've got most of it, but we don't have his athletic testing, which will be a big factor because you need elite athletes if you're drafting them in the top 10. They got to be an elite athlete, or else you're going on to the next position, and that's without even getting into the value of taking a safety that high when it's typically drafted back end first round through the first 3 rounds. And you can find good quality, very good starters, right? Jesse Bates was a second-round pick, for example. But forget all that for now. Let's enjoy Caleb Downs and what he is. Figure out what he is. If you haven't watched, if you're like me, you don't watch college football, let's introduce you to Caleb Downs, the standout safety from the Ohio Buckeyes. Okay, number 2 is Caleb Downs. We'll get the arrow also, so that's nice. If I don't always point him out, or sometimes I'll just reference where he's at. If you aren't used to watching Bengals on the Brain, a lot of times it'll just be the mouse, or I'll circle him, and I'll stop, pause, and talk. We've got one game here against Michigan. On the stat sheet, it's a decent game for him. It's one of his higher graded games from PFF. Even though I think they only list him for 2 tackles in this game, I think this one represents his good plays, but also maybe some of his weaknesses as well. If you're wondering, if you think he's a perfect prospect, best player in the draft, great. I may come back to this in April and agree with you. I don't know where I fall right now yet because I got to see who these other players are. Maybe he is the best player in the draft. So let's start it off here. Caleb Downs at the free safety spot, despite really they're not, I wouldn't say they're going with a free safety really here, as he's paying a lot of attention on these all the action that's going off to the right. So you'll see what I'm saying here as we got a jet motion right. So he's really got to pay attention to this. We got potential for looking like, or we got bubble screens here. Are they going to hand this off? All the linemen are pulling this way, which to me would alert me. But if you look at Caleb Downs' eyes, he's really looking hard this way. And it's probably because number 3 is blitzing and 8 is also coming off the edge. And because of that, these guys on this side have to be super aware of what's coming on this side. If the quarterback did want to just pop this pass out, Caleb Downs would have to get over here big time and to go make a play. And because of it, though, if you watch, the run's going the other way, right? So at this point, he goes, oh, crap, I'm running to my left, and this play is off to the races to the right side. So that's his side as the safety. But at the same time, you see with the blitz called why he ends up going so far to the side. Now, he is in all the film I've watched so far, he seems like a great communicator, setting up that defense, calling things, making the adjustments, as you would want from any safety. But you just see right there how hard he's attacking that. And that's largely because of the function of what the defense is being called in front of him. And it's just blocked really well by Michigan. And it ends up being a very big, explosive play start the game for Michigan. And I know when on the outro there before we started the film, it's funny how things pop in your mind afterwards. I said the Ohio Buckeyes. I know it's Ohio State. Someone's going to kill me already in the comments. He's in the middle of the field again here, communicating with the other safety as he's going to drop back and he's going to be the free safety. And again, when I talked about how much Jordan Battle was playing free safety, I want a guy that can do both, right? We end up getting the check down here, but I just want to go back a little bit because I like the way Downs starts this play in the middle of the field here as he moves the refs first. Like, he wants a clear line of sight. But as we have a couple of potential seam routes on each side, he's going to flip this way and just make sure that one's covered because the quarterback's going to end up looking that way right there. You see Caleb Downs also flipping this way. So he checked that side. He flips this side, staying in the middle of the field, not really being manipulated by the quarterback. And then once the ball's checked down, now he's got to see if he can come up and make a play. And instead he plays the Ole with the wide receiver that's coming over. But I'm looking, so why I'm looking at this, so the mentals, you can see he understands what's going on, right? But I'm looking for him flipping his hips to see if he is that elite athlete. Can he, like that is a drill you're going to see at the combine, right? They're going to have these guys backpedal, flip his hips one way, flip his hips the other way. So like when I'm watching, it's not so much, and I'm going to rehash a couple of these things. The people that have been watching my show and watching my process for years know what I'm talking about here. But these little things here are what I look for. Sometimes it's just movement skills. It's not so much X's and O's. When coaches watch, they can be very X's and O's and did you do the job? And that's their like major goal, right? Scouts a lot of times are watching for translatable skills, things that look like this could play at the next level. And I tend to lean more that way when I watch. It's less about executing X's and O's and is this skill, body type, intensity, everything it takes to be a good football player once the play is snapped, once the X's and O's don't matter. Can that translate? Does that translate? Does that play at the NFL level? And which is why I watch so much NFL football, because it gives me a good barometer for can these guys play. All right, so he's at the free safety spot again. I think he's reacting fairly quickly here, seeing that the run is happening up the middle, and gets into position, right? He's not making the tackle there. I'm looking for his reaction time. How fast can he close space? What's his intensity level? And I'm not making sweeping evaluations on these plays. I'm talking a lot about my process here. That's going to be the thing for the first few prospects we do watch so that we get an understanding of what we're looking for. All right, where is he? What is he, in the slot this time? Yeah, we like to see that. Like to see the versatility because I feel like a lot of these top-end safeties now in the league, the most versatile playmaking ones are the guys that can come down and play all three spots, right? Give me free, give me strong, give me the guy that can come down into the box and cover the slot. So this run's going away. We got a QB power. Nothing for Downs. But what I mean by not making sweeping changes is if we have 3,000 snaps to evaluate, 60 snaps should not swing you. What should swing you is consistent, noteworthy plays, positive or negative. Does that make sense? So let's say I'm keeping a notebook, which I do when I'm not recording, and I write multiple times. Very quick to the ball, very aggressive to the ball, strong tackler, tackling through the ball carrier, all things that you would say about Downs, right? Once those become repeatable in the notebook multiple times in multiple games, that's who he is. You can feel pretty confident in multiple games that that's who he is. I like this game because he's playing a lot of free. I think he had the most snaps of any position free here. So let's go back just a click here and see Downs again as the free safety. We get a fake wide receiver screen to the left. We're going to throw the halfback screen to our right. So watch Downs in the middle. Right there, at this point, he sees what it's actually happening. We're not getting that screen. It must be coming to the right. It must be a halfback screen. You can tell how quickly, right? This quarterback hasn't let it go yet. So right at that point, he's already coming down to make this play. Now, again, he never has to get to it. The ball's incomplete. So I'm looking for the reaction time, the understanding, the mentals of it. All things that should not be questioned with Caleb Downs. But I need to see it because that has to be a big thing. When we watched Nick Eamon-Warry last year, we watched Malachi Starks, there was a difference in reaction time and intensity, right? Eamon-Warry a lot of times was picking and choosing when to be physical, fast, and aggressive. Turns out he got into a great scheme with the Seattle Seahawks, and playing in the slot, I compared him to Kyle Hamilton in a lot of ways, thinking he could get to that, and he's playing that way, while Starks was more of a true free safety, who's had a solid year as a rookie as well. So we got Downs in the slot again, just so I don't get carried away in this conversation. But with Starks, he was more intense, more mental, consistently than Eamon-Warry was. He would get to plays very quick, react very quick, anticipate very quickly. All right, so Downs in the slot here. You could tell he was going to blitz, right? What are our keys? What are they? When you got that safety directly over the top, an alert that Downs may blitz and be the unblocked defender potentially. Let's see. He's got a tight end on him here. This is one play where I will point out where Downs looks small. I think 17 is a tight end, right? He's got to be, yeah. He's lined up as a tight end here. So as we see Downs on the left side here, watch as the tight end comes across. I'm going to talk about two different things here. One, doing your job and doing your responsibility. Like I said, how coaches may look at things. His responsibility is stay outside, right? Force the ball carrier to run inside where hopefully a linebacker or the other safety can come over. Where your help is on the inside. So Downs' job is to stay outside no matter what. And sometimes you might get crushed playing your position and being outside. Think of a screen or a pitch to the outside and a lineman's going out there. Even if you're a linebacker, you're outmatched by size. Your job is to still play your leverage. And he does that here. But I will say, he gets handled pretty easily for a tight end. There's not a lot of great college blocking tight ends. And I don't know who 17 is. Maybe he's the next, Rob Gronkowski, George Kittle. Maybe he's fantastic. I don't know. Could be Colston Loveland. My point is that I would like to see Downs. There were other games and other moments as well where I look at it and go, he might be small. He might be really small. And there's a lot of safeties that have been really good in the NFL that were small. Bob Sanders was amazing, but he was an elite athlete and he was incredibly smart and incredibly intense. So you want to see those traits from Downs. Here he is seeing this run again pretty quickly. Doesn't think the quarterback's got it. He knows 7 has the backside if the quarterback does have it. Now he's going to fight through it and fight through the trash. You see him seeing each hole, and as he's going through, I talked about this during someone asked, I can't remember what, on Twitter, they asked what to look for linebackers coming up on draft season. And I said, I like guys that can fight through the trash without being affected. And there's this level right here where you're scraping across, and now there's not a ton of trash here, but it gives me an example to talk about it. And players are falling at your feet. There's blockers over here. There's guys falling here. There's guys falling here. And can you stay pretty horizontal? He's got a little bit of an angle to him here, but he's scraping across horizontally. Keep that speed up. Be that athletic. Keep your vision on the ball carrier while making it through all this without getting picked off by a lineman climbing up or just somebody falling to the ground, right? So Caleb Downs does a good job here, scraping over the top. Eventually gets caught up, but he did his. You'll see on the other angle. By being inside, it's forcing the running back out. So we got Downs on the right side, number 2, right? Watch how quickly he realizes what's going on, and he turns into an athlete. And, like, I'm not criticizing him for not getting over to make that tackle because he's never really gets there. He's the backside guy that whole time. I like the way he moved there, personally. He wasn't supposed to make the tackle, if you know what I'm saying. If he does, great, but not killing him if he doesn't. Like to see the intensity on the opposite end. It's Michigan, Ohio State. They should be intense. It shouldn't be something I have to ask for. But do you continue to run, right? We watched Jordan Battle not continue to run on some plays. Downs doesn't seem like that. We haven't gotten it completely yet. The play where I'm like, see, that's what I'm talking about with his intensity and hustle. But he has it, and you see flashes of it. All right, he's got to come up here as we potentially have a jet motion coming across here. We also bring in a tight end this way and probably running a bit of power that way. Downs is going to look like he's going to follow that track that the running back is taking. And there he is, right in the hole. Bang. Like, I really like this play for Downs because I think, his reaction time is fantastic. He looks very fast attacking, very confident attacking. He's got to get deep into the middle of the box here in the middle of the field where all the traffic is, and it doesn't seem to affect him. Bang, right? It's a very good run stop for a smaller safety. He doesn't play like he thinks he's small. That's the thing. Like, the only time you really see him being small is when a blocker gets on him. Look at just the timing and the way he scrapes down, knows when to sidestep and wait because the running back could bounce left or right there, and then comes in low and just takes the thigh pad out. That's what you want to see. I would like to have that. Well, there was many times this year when that was Geno Stone that needed to do that. He was just lazy, just hesitant, just could not come down, not even close to the type of athlete that I think Caleb Downs is. And that play would probably go for 6-7 yards. Jammed the heck out of him, right? This play goes the opposite direction. That's why when people post highlights sometimes of these prospects, and they only show the plays where they make the tackle or the pass was thrown against them, it's valuable. It's a quick way to be introduced to these players. But why I watch the whole film is because I don't think anybody would show this otherwise. But watch them. This is not easy. I should have started it before this play started, but the tight end was here and you're here. You've got such a gap. You got 2.5 yards between because he's off the line. And then to still be able to get here and get a jam on him that way, I mean, geez, he just erased 83 with that coverage. So when I see Downs get down into the box, cover tight ends, or get in the slot and cover these guys, I'm actually very impressed with him. I think he's going to be a better athlete than I just read a quick bio from 2 different places before I even started watching because I'm not calibrated fully for watching draft prospects and being introduced to these guys. In due time, I'll feel great talking about them, but I wanted to know who these guys were a little bit more, especially Downs here. So there's one of them said that they're not sure like how good he's going to test, like a good athlete but not an elite athlete. And I was just like, man, okay, because I didn't see that. I noted that, but when I watched tape, I thought he was, and maybe it's the processing. Sometimes guys don't look like great athletes, but they process so well it doesn't matter. And then sometimes guys don't look like great athletes, but they're easy movers. The game is easy for them. They played so long. They are born football players. And then they go test, and you're like, yes, they are elite athletes. And you could tell on tape because they got to a lot of plays, and they're really freaking good. Why are they really good? Because they're elite. And you see Downs here, right? He's eyes inside while still protecting just in case they want to do something deeper to the right. And watch how quickly he comes downfield here. Still plays his position. What's he got to do? He's got to stay to the outside here. Takes on 82, forces 24 to cut back, and then everyone else scrapes over and makes the stop. Reaction time, getting down. I mean, we've put Geno Stone in this play and see the difference, right? We've seen it countless times. Watching Downs come down here, what I said by right here, when he gets right there and realizes, oh, okay, I got to get outside here and protect because we've got multiple guys coming over this way. If we can get the running back to bounce back inside, I've done my job. I've played my leverage. So he does. But you can also see the contact, right? When 42 makes contact with him, he throws Downs like he's a smaller guy. I don't know if you guys have seen that picture. You probably have, of Sonny Styles next to Caleb Downs. Styles looks like Takeo Spikes next to Antoine Woodfield, right? Just makes him look absolutely tiny. Downs is the free safety here. Noteworthy play for him being the deep guy again. And I think he can do this. I think he's going to be, for people that think that have said to me that Battle and Downs are redundant, I cannot see that at all so far while watching these guys. And again, he got over there. I think the guy's open, right? If the quarterback's not getting pressured, I would have liked to have seen this ball get thrown because the guy's open. But Downs' job isn't to be completely sticky on him right there. He's got to pick him up because of the blitz. And based on the route here, he's just trying to get over and help and do what he can. You see Downs there again. Do you guys see him communicating and how often? This is very common on tape. Watch the arrow. All right, the arrow's not there yet. He's pointing to his middle of the field safety. He's telling him, come down, get over here. You're supposed to be over here. There's two guys. There's two receivers. I got the tight end. And now he's kicking guys over. Tight end's on your side. You two get over. Like he is coordinating the entire defense. Now he's the deep free safety. That's what you want from a deep free safety. Now we got pressure on the quarterback. Downs can start to drift a little bit from his position, but he's got to be aware that we have a deep potential post to come behind him. If the quarterback can get away from this and replant and throw, where's Downs going to be, right? He's still got to be the deep guy. Let's see if he rolls with that receiver or not. The receiver ends up going right down the seam, not really running with the quarterback at all, and the quarterback never had a chance to plant his feet. But that is something to be aware of. I think I think there's a potential there for that he was a little too shallow and not carrying that, not protecting himself from being exposed deep there. Maybe he saw the pressure and was like, quarterback will never set his feet. But that, I mean, in the NFL, Josh Allen's resetting and probably launching this thing down the middle of the field. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. So just noteworthy. I don't see too many of those on tape. So like I said, just sometimes it's noteworthy. I'm not making sweeping evaluations, concrete evaluations, nothing like that. All right, we've got a run play here. Downs from the deep safety spot, comes up. Would have filled it, but the front took care of that pretty easily for Ohio State. We probably won't watch. No, what I was going to say is we probably will watch this game multiple times this year, as Ohio State's got quite a few players, and I'm sure there's Michigan something on offense that we'll have to be aware of and pay attention to. I do think he could stick his nose into some of these plays a little bit more often. Like when you see that and he gets close to it, did his job, and then he kind of backs off and backs away. This play's going the other direction. Not much for Downs, but you see him talking to 18. That must be his other safety there. He's pointing right now. 18 gives him the thumbs up, like, yeah, don't worry, I got him. He ends up really jumping onto the play to the right, and then Downs comes up to him right away and starts talking to him right after that play. So if you're looking for a communicator, what did Duke Tobin say? We need communicators, we need leaders, we need these young guys to step up and be that. Here's Downs in the slot right now. Nice to see a little man coverage. Little contact. Was it at 5 yards? A little after 5 yards? Let's go back just a little. Where's the line of scrimmage? About the 21. So he's got to about the 26. And he's sitting at the 28. Make contact a little bit late. May not be called, right? In the NFL, we see this all the time. We would like our receivers not to be touched as often as they are. And we'd like a little leniency on a play like that when you have position. But it's nice to see him come down and play man coverage against tight end, right? These are things that safeties need to do, especially versatile guys that are projected to go top 10, top 12. We got a blitz potential for downs. He had to protect this just in case we had a backside slant or anything like that. Now the run is cut back all the way. And a good job by, I think it was the other, no, it wasn't. It was 0, wasn't it? 0 or 8? Couldn't see the number. I'll watch them, by the way. Who is this? I should have looked up what number Sonny Styles is, and we could have watched them maybe at both same time. It was 0 that I thought really did a good job of forcing that running back to cut back where the backside help of the defense was. Now here's Downs looking like he's coming up to be the strong, playing in the box, blitzing, and we get a big run for Michigan. Downs again, kind of jogging through the play towards the end there. He gets the blitz here, goes through the tight end. You would like, ideally, to see him run around this and be able to catch this guy from the backside, but there's no one there to really slow the running back down. But watch Downs here from this. You need consistent effort and trying to track those guys down and make a play and finish the play. And I'm only going to be critical of that because the Bengals desperately need it, and we need him to set an example for a guy like Jordan Battle to play with consistent effort and intensity. And I will say, the other games I watched, I thought it was better than this game. It's just now that I'm watching this the second time, I haven't watched those other games the second time. Now I'm watching this the second time, I'm kind of like, he could have won a little harder there. Finish it. It's a rivalry game. Let's see it. Coming up from deep safety spot again to defend the run. He's not getting directly involved in the tackle. Like I said, I think PFF gave him 2 tackles and a couple of assists in this game. So this isn't going to be a heavy. There's some other games where, like the final 2 games, Miami and who was before that, 7 tackles each. I looked at his stat sheet to see this. He's in the slot here towards the top of the screen, backing up a little bit here. Eyes on the quarterback, sees it's an inside give. Make sure he's not getting blocked by that slot guy. And bam! Did you see that hit there? Did you see when he made contact on it? And I will say other guys made contact as well, but I do appreciate that when he made contact, everyone else folded as well. So let's watch Downs again here. Boom. It's a lot of power right there between he and 0. Zero did a great job scraping over and making 53 miss. While Downs, a lot of intensity there, hitting very hard. That's what I want to see. It looks like he's the deep safety. Oh, no, he's in the slot. Okay. And again, against 17, he's right away. What do we see, right? Because we got a switch release where the one safety's coming up here, and 17 looks like he's dragging across. But watch Downs right there. Immediately sees what's happening and is starting to point to his other safeties, or point to his linebackers, his second-level guys, saying, like, make sure you're picking them up. Got a guy coming across. Alert, heads up. And then Downs was aware of the potential check down as well there. Looks like first down. Michigan. Just watching Downs communicate here on the left side. And you see the cascading communication. All right, again in the slot versus 83, who I think is a receiver. We got to run stuff here as he's following his guy down. Zero, hitting with a lot of power, man. That's got to be Styles, right? Styles is 0. Arvell Reese is 8, I would guess, based on body size, skill set just off this. This is how you guys know I've only watched a half of Ohio State game all year long. Here comes Downs in the middle of the field. 24 is getting outside. Let's see this intensity come finish the play. Let's watch Downs left side here. That's what I was talking about with the intensity. Could he help finish? Could he fight a little harder through this? I like that he bounces around 4 and doesn't let 4 take him out. But yeah, I think he could have been more intense there. You're not going to say off this game, we're only halfway through it, but you're not going to say off this game that this is like a super intense player, because there are other games for sure, but not in this one. You're not going to say that from the Michigan tape so far. Let's see if that changes. Meanwhile, though, 8 with another nice play. He made one earlier. I'm just going to call them by their number. And then the comments can tell me. They're like, Joe, you're watching Arvell Reese again. 97 with a nice move. Okay, 97 at end. Let's go back just a click. Right side. You can't see anyone's names. They're all washed out. Oh, it was just a terrible rep at the left tackle. Wasn't even that nice of a win. Okay. Downs is in the middle of the field there. Off coverage like crazy. 3 is off. Everyone's off. Is this an actual run? I'm surprised that looked like a play that you would definitely keep as the quarterback and give it to that slot guy who was wide open, especially with so much off coverage. But Downs doesn't get involved in this one, which leads me to start watching some of these linebackers. 8, again, making a nice edge set and then coming around and making a tackle. Oh, it's starting to snow. Nice. You guys didn't tell me this was a snow game. Downs communicating with 18, switching positions with him. Seam ball. Caught. Man. Watch Downs on the left side here. They end up just... He comes down to be the underneath safety while letting 18 go over the top. And that little bit of difference in that few yards probably is why this ball gets caught. The quarterback probably saw that and said, I got more room on the left side here. I'm going to throw it up. All right, we got a quick throw to the tight end down here. Let's see if Downs finishes this play. He's cut down. The tight end's cut down before he can even get there. I have no problem with him stopping at that point. As always, I will say this off my episodes. My episodes are typically one game to watch. If you're watching this for the first time also, you may say, well, why don't you pick a game where he gets targeted more or where he gets his hands on the ball? There aren't a ton. His ball production's not going to be very high. So his middle safety here looks like he's going to be the underneath guy here. Dang. He just got ran over by the slot receiver. We're going to have to go back and see that. Watch Downs in the middle here as he goes to the right. Eyes are inside. He's kind of saying, we're done. And the receiver runs right through him. What I was going to say is, though, I urge everyone after these games to watch the highlights after. After you see how good a player is, watch the highlights. And I will end up posting, oh, his foot got caught. Let's go back. I'm not going to say this receiver crushed Downs if his foot got caught in the ground. The highlights are good after watching a game, though, to see what a player is capable of. Yeah, that was very weird. His foot got caught. That could have been bad. What is he? Oh, he's in the box completely. You got 17 underneath. So they tried to high-low. Bengals will run this a lot too. They call it cheese, I want to say. The Bengals do. And we've diagrammed this before, but he's basically the weak side linebacker here by coming up in the box. And you're going to have a sit glance combo. Basically, he's trying to get your attention by sitting down right here, and you're going to bring the guy on a dig behind him. If down steps up on the underneath guy, you hit this throw right here. But the quarterback's looking this way all the way. It looks like he's coming to the check down anyway, so ball's dropped. I do want to watch downs here on the left side. He's lined up directly over 17. 17 looks like he's going to go block. He didn't give up I would say if you were trying to read him, he didn't give you anything to read. He didn't come up on 17. He didn't drift too far into the guy behind him either. All right, Downs coming into the box again. Gets off the block of that receiver, number 4 again. 4 tried to get another one. Didn't happen. 98's a big boy. All right, Downs on the left side here as he comes up. Reading the run. I do like when a player doesn't have to directly look at the guy in front of him and almost looks through. You know what I'm saying, right? If you've done this. And how he just got through all that and is right at the hole to meet the running back. So again, that's probably not going to go up on the stat sheet because he's like the 4th guy to get there. But I have no doubt that if no one else was there on that defense, he would have been in position to make a play. See, again, I think he's got poor effort on this play. It may be that I need to recalibrate and watch safeties, right? When you're solely focusing on a safety, although we just did this and just watched a bunch of Jordan Battle games. Like when this ball's right here and you're right here, like I need you to continue to run because Zay Flowers might make a guy miss. Jamar Chase may break those 3 tackles right there, right? I need you to keep going and stay active, stay involved, and just play with a little more intensity right there. Yeah, are we getting this shot here to 17? Oh, read it really, really well. I'm glad you guys stayed long enough. Despite this game not being the most exciting, it's safety play. They're only going to get targeted a few times. But as he's drifting into the middle field here, I mean, you got 2 safeties almost 5 yards away from each other. You know, college safety play is weird. But he's not. He's standing here. He's posted up. He sees what's happening. He's reading the quarterback's eyes. He is breaking on this with intensity and knowing where that ball is going to go. Almost gets it. Almost has an interception. Probably could have done something with that ball afterwards as well. It's a really good mental play. Athleticism-wise, we got snow on the ground now. He looks quick. He reacts very quickly. Oh, he actually gets bumped off it by the tight end on a no flag because you're both going for the ball, right? So how could you flag that? It's a very good read and react for Caleb Downs. Again, he's communicating, getting guys set up, pushing them where they need to be. You know, the run play here, he's right in the hole. This is what I'm talking about. When I talk about his intensity, and then I'm pointing out the plays where he's not so intense, watch here when he realizes, oh, I'm the guy in the hole. I don't mean realizes like he's caught off guard, but like the play is meant to go to the right. And now what are they doing? They're eye to eye in this hole. Watch his reaction, his speed, and his intensity now to make sure he makes this stop as fast as possible. Ready? Wham! Like soon as he realizes what's happening, he's in there. Hammer. I like to watch it from this angle. right here. So he realizes, man, this gap was a lot smaller than I thought. I might want to go back because I want to see this defensive tackle that's fallen on the ground right here. I don't think he's fallen in a bad way. 96 maybe on the left side. No, it's not. It's 98. It's the nose. This guy. He really squeezed that hole. That's why Downs came in the way he did and then came in with intensity to finish it. Is that the nose tackle that people were telling me to watch eventually too? Is that him? All right, Downs safety towards our bottom of the screen here. We got a deep pass interference. He was going to jump on the underneath if the quarterback wasn't going to throw this go ball. We had either a tight end or a wide receiver. We had a target coming across the middle here for. I thought he was looking at that and potentially going for that one. He's in the box again. He's got the white sleeves on. Turning to carry the seam. We got to check down. So nothing forward downs. Did a good job, though. I think the quarterback is looking that way initially. There's really nothing to pull him down, though. So fairly easy for him. Watching him. He didn't get a hand. I think he wanted to get a hand on 4. Probably a good thing they didn't. He was past 5 yards again. All right, he's the deep free safety here. And it's a run play. Got 2 Wolverines trying to block him down there. Yeah, 0 Styles. I can see their names now. Hello, Styles. You've had a great game. Yes. Yeah, that looks good. It looks like a very good linebacker. Oh, Downs is down at the edge. We're going to get a blitz here? We are. Run through that running back. And a hit and pressure on the quarterback. Ball sails high. Here we go, Downs. Let's see it. Right side here, number 2. Running back's going to pick him up. He's even got a knee down. Look like he's about to fully pass rush. Man, he just powered through that running back. And then gets the little bit of pressure on the quarterback. It looked closer on the other angle. But yeah, just that running back had no chance to block him. Oh, jeez. That's why you don't go up one hand as a receiver. Like, because if you tip it, if you don't catch it cleanly, just touching that ball one-handed, in that situation where defenders are, it got tipped into the air. But that almost fell right into Seven's hands. He's in the box again here, next to Styles. He's already going out. He sees 83's coming out. He's got to protect all the way to the outside here, just in case. And that's where the quarterback's looking right away. It looks like Downs was going to jump that if it's a potential slant. Quarterback's going to pull it back. And the sack happens. So, good coverage by Downs. He had inside leverage. He pretty much stayed there, got his eyes inside, took that away from the quarterback. Watch Downs right there as he's shifting out with 83. I don't think we're going to end up getting a chance to see him here, but we will see the quarterback definitely look that way and realize, it's not there. And he's sacked. Downs is in the box here. He's going to go out wide, get a hand on this receiver, and then he's going to have to come down and pick up the check down, which he does. And bam! That's what you see. I know we only have a handful of tackles in this game. Like I said, it was more than just, it was 2 solos and then a bunch of assists. But these are what you see in the other games as well, when he is like deliberately hitting and tackling and going for the ball. In some of his games where he is super intense, his speed when he fires his gun, and that is a phrase for when, especially at safety, because you get those plays are different than linebacker. But when you get there and you say, okay, right here, we've taken away the first read, he's coming to the check down here. Watch how quickly Downs puts his foot in the ground. And again, this may seem simple, but some guys run like this to go hit the tight end. Tight end's not going to be there. Tight end's going to be here. The ball's going to be thrown here. So he's coming down to meet the tight end at the ball, right? Seems simple enough, but we've seen some bad angles. And that intensity that he hits with, he is a hammer when he hits. And that's why when I point out the plays where he's kind of jogging through it, it's frustrating because you want to see him because you know what he can do. Because when he does it, it looks great. Do I want a player like this? Of course I do. Of course I do. 17, we're going to say it's incomplete. I wonder. Did Downs get a hand on this? Downs' eyes are inside here, despite potentially, 17 says man. He's looking at the quarterback and then finally jumps on it. I don't know if it's catch or not. We'll see on the next play if it's 2nd and 10. So it is incomplete. Downs is in slot coverage now. It's not going to be a play. Are they going to review it? They're cleaning the ball off. Okay. A lot of communication. All right, Downs has the slot guy who looks like a tight end. Looks like he's going to run that seam and try and go around him. Which he does. Goes to the check down. Downs with good intensity there, finishing the play. Good hustle to make sure this running back doesn't break that tackle. And that is Styles making that long arms, man. All right, Downs is in kind of robber safety here. Not so much a linebacker, but a little bit deeper. As looks like they're just protecting, as Michigan's kind of stressing a bit here to try and make something happen, and maybe the game, I didn't see the score. Maybe the game is completely out of hand. That's the feeling I'm getting by the 27-9. Yeah. Looked like it said 7:27 left. All right, Downs is in the slot again, closest to us. Lots of slot play. I mean, I would like to be able to have a safety like this. This is why you could sign a free agent, have Battle, and have Downs, and all three could play, because he could do this. And then you have Dax and Turner as boundary guys. Makes you better against the run. And there's an interception, overthrow pass. Makes you better against the run. Makes you a little more versatile, right? So Caleb Downs, that was the end of the game, by the way. That was just the interception. Runs off the field, takes his helmet off, and as he's running off, he gets flagged. But we don't see Downs again. Downs is currently the consensus number 2 overall player in the draft. If that's right, and honestly, I've done so many studies on consensus that you should lean into consensus. If 500 people, if thousands of people believe something, typically it's okay to go with it. And if he's the number 2 player and he's there at 10, what are you saying? Plus, he's 21 years old, a young 21. The Bengals' first round, you go back all the way to Joan Williams. Only Joe Burrow was over 21. So, like, you want to start talking about guys that maybe are 23. I don't know if the Bengals will do it in the first round. They want these young guys, and you may say, well, maybe they should take these older guys that can produce right away and help you right away. Maybe they should. But it doesn't always mean that. It doesn't always mean they will. And it doesn't always mean the young guys won't. Jamar Chase was super young, right? Like, if they can play, they can play. Demetrius Knight, 1 year of starting at a high level, but was 25. Didn't mean he could come in and start and understand what he's doing right away. So it doesn't always mean these things. So you got to watch the tape. Downs looks like he can come in and play. And 21-year-old, top 5 safety, we don't see that. If he tests like an elite athlete, he probably won't even be there. If that's how the NFL views him, like the consensus does, probably not going to be there because that means he's a rare player. He's a rare prospect. He can return also. He can punt return. That's when you see like, oh, this dude is an elite athlete. He's going to test well. What are people saying? We're talking about a 5-star recruit that has bloodlines in the NFL. High-end athlete bloodlines in the NFL. So I think Downs is going to be fine. I think he's going to test well. I think the only thing that may knock him is he's not like Kyle Hamilton size, right? He's not Nicky Manwari size, which Sean Taylor, right? Sean Taylor was huge. And those are the guys that typically go higher as safeties because they can do so much more. And because when you have that elite athleticism plus you're huge, I mean, that's just a rare combo, right? Every team wants that. We would want that still. But I think Downs is being pegged too much as just a strong safety. I don't think that's fair at all. I think he can play in the slot. I think he can play strong, play in the box. He can also be a deep free safety. He's a very heady, smart player with tons of experience at a young age that produced and played at Alabama at a young age, 18 years old, and had like an 89 PFF grade, or maybe it was this past year was 89 or 87. It's consistent throughout, which has good predictive value as well. So, I've watched. This is my 4th game, and I think he's good. I think he's really good. If you're looking, I say the Texas game 2024 was one of his better games as well. And then if not, watch Miami and whoever was the game before Miami. That is, leave it in the comments for the people. And then go put his highlights in if you're interested in what that could be. The other part of the safety is it's hard to take, and it's also why you can't take Sonny Styles. I'll make the argument why you can't take Sonny Styles at 10, because the 5th-year option is equivalent to a defensive end. And you would way overpay for that 5th-year option. Now, it's just a 5th-year option. Hopefully you extend him before that. But the Bengals not having that safety fall, he would have to be super special in order to be that pick at 10. Safety similar. Safety, tight end, running back. If you're taking those guys in the first round, you're already committing to them being one of the highest paid players at their positions. That's tough, right? That means you better be good, number one. Number two is the same argument for Demetrius Knight in round 2. If you're going to take a linebacker there, he better be good and good right away. Because the opportunity cost, safeties are routinely drafted in rounds 2, 3, 4, and become good starters. If you're going to spend that, a premium, a blue chip pick on that position, they better be generational. And Caleb Downs might be. So that's why he's in the conversation. That's why we're having this conversation. If he's not those bigger safeties, I'm waiting on the comparison, he might be Buda Baker, which who wouldn't take a Buda Baker on this defense, right, for the next 10 years? I would. And we're going to keep going on in the film and trying to turn the key on guys that potentially could be the pick at number 10. It should be easy this year, picking 10, unlike other years. We should be able to get to the top 15 or 20 or so guys fairly quickly, and that's my goal over the next month or so until we got the combine. Until next time on Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics, it is Who Dey.